We are here behind the screen. Welcome everybody to Friday Office Hours. Our wonderful guest today, Mr. Getting a Pie in the Face, Clint, the Black Edit Black. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Chris. I regret giving you that picture now.
You can't undo it, sir. It's on the internet. It will live forever. It will live forever. So yes, so for folks who didn't catch the pre advertisement, whatever the socials that just went out, we'll start here, sir. Explain this photo.
So, this is in fact a picture of me. Yeah, yep, getting a pie in the face. There was, believe it or not, a time that I was president of the student government at our community college, and I thought, just kind of to go back to the the charity stream that we're doing next Wednesday. I thought I found this looking through some memorabilia that my mother had actually collected. And thought, well, yep, this is where it started.
So I read in the caption there that people were so thrilled to have you get pied in the face. You guys raised over $1,000. So,
so to be clear, the nursing department raised over $1,000 to ensure the student government president got a pie in the face. So I apparently do not track well with nurses for some reason.
I mean, we're hoping to cash in on your face more. So as Clint mentioned, next Wednesday, we are doing a Necessary Evil 3 actual play charity stream. And the charity is, tell us about the charity, sir.
Well, to be clear, we're doing a live stream of Necessary Evil 1.
Oh, well, one. Well, yes.
The
in honor
original,
of Necessary 3, yes.
Yeah, we are going back to the original Necessary Evil. And the charity that we are doing this for is the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, who, if you all wonder why I've chosen that charity, my mother had multiple sclerosis and ended up passing from complications due to that a little over 10 years ago now. And in point of fact, my aunt also had it. It is, it's not a disease that you can inherit, but it is something that you can have a genetic predisposition to. So, however they both ended up getting it, they did. And I love the MS Society because they not only work towards finding a cure, they work towards providing support to people that have it currently. And that's huge, having seen everything my mother went through and struggled with as it goes through there. But so we're doing this to support the MS Society, and Chris here has already set up a Facebook page for donations, and some crazy people snuck in there and I guess found it already and let other people know. And what were we at now, Chris?
It's almost 300 already, and we haven't really even told anybody. So our initial goal was like $100, and then Shane, of course, within 5 minutes, she didn't even know we were doing this, and then Shane's like, "Yeah, it's $100." So we're like, "Thank you, Shane. Appreciate you, buddy." And so we're gonna have to revise our goal a little bit and raise some more money for multiple sclerosis support and research and all that great stuff. It's also a personal cause for me. I've got an uncle and a cousin who struggle with MS, and so we'll share a little bit more about that during the stream. Hopefully, we'll take a little break during the actual play and doing those little money raise-a-thons, right? We'll get a little stand with people in the background with phones, and
that's
right, like PBS and so that awesome cause. And I will during this stream I'll go find the links for folks to. There is let me see. I think I sent these to Clint, and I don't know. No guarantees, Cryptwright, that Clint will be making insightful comments. I mean, so rare and far between normally. Trying to divine them during a stream might be a problem.
I actually have an edge that imposes a penalty to notice rolls to determine if I've made an insightful comment or not. So it may be insightful. you just may have failed your notice roll.
Right. Yeah. Well, talk about failing notice rolls. Okay, so for people who don't know, Clint has like the most deadly deadpan ever in the world. So I mean, like I have gotten caught by this so many times where we're just talking and Clint will say something outlandish and wild, like I do outlandish and wild say things, but no one ever falls for them. Clint just gets. I mean, it'll be like a half an hour later, people are like, did you hear what? And then it's like, oh, damn it, Clint. The oh wait. Do I gotta get I gotta get dressy, gotta get snazzy. The how about one of those t-shirts, right? Like the t-shirts that has the fake stuff print on it. We can do that. That's within the budget.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. The deadpan firsthand, like it's lethal. And I sit there and he gets this like wry smile when you finally figure it out. It's like I think it's an IQ test. It's just like times you how long it takes you to figure out that something he said is just like completely off base. And,
I do not. I don't know what you're talking about, Chris.
Yeah. Deny it all you want. Okay, so I go and look up some charity links so you guys can get it on the leading edge of the donation. Start us out, Clint. Where'd you grow up, sir? Where are you from?
So I grew up in no surprise to people that know what my other job is. I grew up in Hickory, North Carolina, or as we say here, Hickory. There's no O in it,
Fewer syllables.
Yeah, fewer syllables, so you get there, get to it faster. I grew up here, and I grew up right in the heart of furniture manufacturing country. Third generation, going back, through my father, my grandfather, and so yeah. And I mean, although my time here, that is my grandmother, by the way. Her father is the source of my middle name. He was a Jesse Franklin Click, and I am Clinton Franklin Black. Her father started one of the first newspapers in this county. And when he passed, the governor of North Carolina wrote his obituary. And to give you an idea of the level of respect he had for him, they were completely opposite sides ideologically, completely opposite. And he did a great, you got me, Civil Savage. He did a great obituary for him, saying, this is the kind of man you want opposite you, and it's great. But so, yeah, I go back several generations here. I've left, a few times to go other places and live, but, kind of come back to the foothills of North Carolina.
It's good to find home. I mean, I'm kind of the same. Colorado's definitely changed over my many years here, but I think it'd be hard to leave for an extended period of time. I think I'd always end up coming back. So
I will add, Chris, that when I looked through those photos, I found a set of photos from the first time I was in Colorado in 1981.
You might have been here for my birth, sir.
Yes. And it had a picture my father took of the rental car he had gotten, and how the back end of it, like the wheels are almost down to the rim on it, because it was such a, well, there's a term for it now. They got a car, but it was not designed for driving through the Rocky Mountains in the snow at all. Yep, but they got him with that one. Yeah, first time there, and I loved it.
Oh, it's great. There's no oxygen, but there's also no mosquitoes and no bugs, really. So
big bonus,
right? Major bonus.
Yeah.
So in the link right now, there's our MS Society donor drive, Pinnacle Entertainment, and then there's a Facebook link if you want to donate via Facebook. Here's that link. So yeah, I think we're almost already at 300, and like again, we didn't tell anybody, no advertisement. It's just like literally just I linked the accounts for the event, and boom, people started donating. So yes, awesome cause. John Doom did the research, showed that a good percentage of the money of all donations go to programs, and that's a good thing too. I mean, I think the nice thing I liked about looking at what they were doing with the cash was that not only is it just kind of throwing money into the research pile, it's also throwing it into the current victims or people living with multiple sclerosis and support programs for them and quality of life programs. So that is awesome. That it's not, research can be happens now or happens in 20 years or never happens kind of thing, and that's it's very important, but it's also just recognizing that there are people who will never benefit from today's research, when it comes out in the future, who still need care and help, and that's great that they do that as well. So
it makes a huge difference. I can tell you, my mother was diagnosed. She had been diagnosed for decades. During the time she had it, she got the opportunity for new treatments that came out that helped her, along the way. And it is, that was great, and it really was to see that effect in real time, and hopefully, it moves forward, with what they can do now. But it is great. And yes, he was saying, I double check things. I mean, I know what my history was with them and how they had helped out my mother, but I did go and follow up and see the connection of this percentage is towards operations, but this percentage is going to research, to programs and things like that. And they have a very high rating for a charitable organization.
Yeah, and that is fantastic, because I mean, some of the real big names that everyone thought were really great, had some scandals recently, or that shows that they a lot less money actually goes to programs than otherwise. And I don't want to call anyone individually out, but it's like, wow, it's good to find places where that your donations are actually going to the right place, going to affect change, going to make people's lives better very directly. And we are super happy. So that's going to be next Wednesday. We have a later in the show, one of our audience members is going to be participating in that stream, and he put together a little promo for our little intro for the stream, and we will share that later on in this stream. So a little hint, just a little hint. And look at all you! How am I the young one at 42 here? Like, I'm looking at like. Maybe I just like to hang out with more mature people who are cooler. That's the way it is.
Okay.
And
is that Matt DeForest in chat?
It might be. It might be asking the question. Tell us about the art behind Clint, unless he's already covered it. No, he has not covered it. That is a very nice little catch there, MM DeForest. And isn't it gorgeous art? Those just might be. Tell us, Clint. What might those things be?
What might this be? It might be a preview of the art coming for the new updated version of Necessary Evil. Might be that with Necessary Evil 3 on the horizon, so to speak. We're looking at updating both the original Necessary Evil and Necessary Evil 2 Breakout, and getting in some new art, some new picture, what we can do. I mean, you can, this is, let me know.
He's on my show now, Jody. All spoilers all the time. You can't stop us. Actually, she can't. She can unplug the camera because she's there. We know it. But
hold on, I'll go lock the door before you get in here. But yeah, this is just a small part of this total picture, which is amazing, showing the Vasori invasion of Earth. That you can't see is up above it are the ships in the sky, the war spheres. If for those people who are familiar with Necessary Evil, this is a preview of the shape of things to come, so to speak.
Yes. So if you guys didn't notice on our newsletters, at the very bottom of the newsletters now, we are definitely, and we're upgrading a lot of things at Pinnacle. A lot of awesome, we are upgrading our Kickstarting game with our Game Changers. We've got a new site for SavageUniverse.com to promote exclusively all of our licensees. And so one little upgrade on our Tuesday newsletter. So join the newsletter if you haven't. Go to pegging.com. There's a big banner there. It says literally get the newsletter. The newsletter is the best place to get information about what we're doing and upcoming events and products and streams and all that good stuff. But we are at the bottom of the newsletter now. We're figuring we're going to do a little test run to see if this works. One, we're going to put our production schedule up there, kind of with shipping and development updates, so people can kind of have a one every week, get an update on where their books are that they've crowdfunded from us. and which was we've got so many in the pipeline. Figured you'd get one little space for that, and then also we're going to be putting kind of a teaser spoiler image every week. And Clint has dubbed this the shape of things to come. So I think we're going to keep that for the future ones too, because it's awesome. And so you guys will get a little hint of future offerings every Tuesday to kind of see what's on the horizon. So I love the idea. We're going to do it. So hopefully you guys like that in the newsletter as well.
Yeah, I think it'll be great. I'm noting DeForest in the chat. And speaking of Necessary Evil, he sat at one of my original preview games of Necessary Evil, the original one at Mace, when Mace was in High Point, North Carolina, before they moved to the big city of Charlotte, and played one of my favorite villains, Kitchen King. And Kitchen King was noted for having minions, the Spice Girls, and being noted that the rest of the villains realized halfway through the game, oh, he's not part of our team because of what he does. He's part of our team so that we have the Spice Girls with us. Because it was a great example of what you can do with Savage Worlds, where this extra minion used a pistol firing the what we called hero killer or cape killer ammo in the superpowered companion. It's essentially jacked up to where it can do heavy weapon damage. She fired a pistol at a Mabuna, which is an armored personnel transport, aced out the wazoo and shot it out of the sky with one shot of that pistol and blew it out of the sky. And that was the point where the other players were like, oh.
See, and that's why I love Savage Worlds. Like, that's what happens in Savage Worlds that they just don't have a lot of great mechanics for in other games, like exploding dice, jokers, Benny economy. That's you're like, yes, being able to shoot a spaceship out of the sky with your pistol. That's where it's at.
And it was also a great build mechanically as well, because the character had monologuer. So while the first round of combat he would be monologuing, his extras he could still roll actions for and have them doing other things. So that was a nice little build. I think that I realized with that character at that time that's a good combination. And yes, as he puts in there were only two of the three Spice Girls, two of the three Spice Girls. I think at the time.
Tree is a nice pun because that's where most spices come from. So good,
right.
Good set of pun. Love you a pun.
That's right. He also Kitchen King also invented shark fin soup that he made with Catharin fins. he went a little loopy after the war started, but it was great fun.
Right, and then Christian also tried to be the hero, and it didn't work out.
Yeah,
I mean,
that happens too.
Sometimes you disintegrate the aliens, sometimes they disintegrate you. That's just the way it works.
You need a Spice Girl, Christian. That's what you need.
Right. Well, I mean, now that we've talked about the art and an art, let me see if I can't pull up. Let's see. I think I promised it's a bit too soon. Make it an overlay. Let's see. We're gonna, as long as where do I hide it?
Yes, Jody.
Let's see. Hopefully it's saved.
Okay, let's see if we can give them a little spoiler preview here and drive Jody nuts.
Right. Okay, so I mean, Clint's got a big head, and so we want to show you a little bit more of that art. And then while we're showing you the art, we can also play a little intro to what the stream is going to be. So check this out, folks.
Villains. That's how the world labeled us. But when the Visori invaded 3 years ago, society's so-called heroes failed. Champion, Silver Sentinel, the rest of Alpha Force, and all the others succumbed to a simple ruse, and for their naivety, they were slaughtered. The only ones left to fight for Earth are those with the foresight to see the disease in society which led to the hero's annihilation. And for that, I, Dr. Destruction, was called, though we were called supervillains. But now, under my leadership, we are the Omega Resistance. We're powerful, organized, cunning, ruthless, and we will take our planet back. The people of the world know we are their only chance for freedom. So, for now, they accept us as a necessary evil. Welcome to Necessary Evil, where the fate of the world lies with the scum of the earth.
So good, so good. Christian Serrano put that together for us, so thank you, Christian. And Christian and Jen are also going to be starring in the game. So give us a little teaser about like what's going on in the game, sir. There's a special little twist to it.
Yeah, there is. That was so awesome, by the way. I love that. So our players, which are Christian Serrano, Jen Sutcliffe, Diana Restrepo, and Adam Kahn, which some of you may know the latter two from Harbinger's RPG, the DAT Network, which we had Jim on last night talking about. Yeah, they are going to be playing members of the Graveyard Shift. And the interesting thing about the Graveyard Shift, which I won't spoil it too much, but if you've read my Necessary Evil short story, Thicker Than Water, which you can find on the Pinnacle site if you look under our Wendigo Tales, there's a whole series of Necessary Evil stories that a bunch of different people did, and I love all of them. But that's a story that's about them. So it will actually follow up about a month or so after that storyline with what's going on with the Graveyard Shift, when there are two couples in the group. And
so it's date night. That's the thing, Clint. It's date night for the supers when all the stuff goes down, which is great.
It is date night that gets interrupted by a Vasori mission that has to be done. Yep.
So we're doing a little prep. So, I mean, you wouldn't know it from the quality, but we actually do prepare and plan for these things. So we were doing a little prep earlier to make sure that a little mic and camera test. So here is another spoiler sneak peek of, I mean, if you're going on date night and going for a nice little stroll in the park, you wouldn't expect that.
Now, hold on. No, Chris, I will stop you.
Okay.
Oh.
Just a little tease.
Christian, don't look.
So there's a nice little tease on my fun thing. See, it's fun. It's good.
Yep.
Good.
I am gonna hurt you.
You won't remember next time we're in person, so that's good.
That's true. I don't really. Yeah, they're gonna have quite the interesting time. And if you really want a good spoiler, the one of the things that's going to happen with date night is now Christian is going to be playing Iron Skull, who was the main character, primary character focus in Thicker Than Water, and the leader of the Graveyard Shift, who, as you caught a little bit in that intro, the Iron Skull's arch enemy was the Silver Sentinel, who was the second Silver Sentinel in the Necessary Evil universe. Who was also his brother. And date night is interrupted because this particular group of this Omega cell are the only ones that can kind of perform this, because they have to go undercover where a Vasori has taken over Bear Manor in Prospect Point, the ancestral home of Iron Skull and his family. It's his old home that he's have to go back to. and now there's a Vasori living in it. So, yeah, he's I'm going to put Christian through the ringer.
So yes, so that's going to be, so for folks who want to tune in, that is going to be next Wednesday evening. On was it the 19th? I believe is the next. Let's see what is the.
It will be on 19th.
the 19th. Yes. So next Wednesday evening on Twitch.tv/Peg Inc. We are going to do the live actual play. It'll be a charity stream benefiting the MS Society, and the Christian and Jen will be there too. So the
and I will be shameless. Next Wednesday, the 19th, is my birthday, and I would no greater present than helping us out.
See, he didn't even tell me that. Look at this. All the marketing juju I can get out of that. The also right, yes, Ronnie, the Sambo Theater production of Thicker Than Blood is really good stuff. So I will find that.
Jeff and the guys did phenomenal. And I need to let you guys know, Jeff contacted me to be sure he got some of these voices right and everything. He wanted, and they were so amazing to work with when they did those Wendigo Tales. It was phenomenal. I cannot recommend it enough. And our free Wendigo Tale short story, Faces of Destruction, that I did as kind of an intro. It's a very micro short story. I believe they also offer as a free download for Sound Booth Theater, so you can hear some of the stuff they've done there. Yeah, it is. It's just being able to listen to those stories and the way they did them is another chill up the spine kind of moment for me. It's just mind-boggling.
So yeah, so I mean, as long as we mentioned, so the I think the next thing I want to spoil, and because this will be coming out of the newsletter on Tuesday anyway. So all of you who are sharing your Friday with us, thank you. So you get a little preview. So not only is the 19th going to be the day when you get to see Clint's Necessary Evil 1 stream, but we hinted that we are going to be redoing Necessary Evil 1 and 2 for Suede, all new books, all new, like actual printed books, current edition, some new art, some extra goodies. We'll have to see. I don't want to spoil too much what's in the campaign, but I mean, all the things you know and love so far, like pawns, and just good stuff. That's all going to be available. And so we are going to game change that, and that's going to be launching Tuesday, the 25th. So you get to enjoy the stream next Wednesday, and then the Tuesday after, we are going to be game changing Necessary Evil 1, 2, and 3 all together, or individually, whatever. We split them out. So for folks who want to pick and choose, but Necessary Evil 1 and 2 are going to get a whole new reboot treatment and all the good stuff. So that'll be a happy birthday present for Clint on the 19th to come watch the show and then buy his game the next Tuesday. So
and happy birthday to Zarfin too.
Look at that.
Yeah. And I will also note that for this particular spoiler, Chris literally timed it just as Jody got up from her desk and stepped away for a moment.
It's good. So, she can't unplug it. She can't unplug this game.
That's right. Yeah.
So the
I will also add, and when we talk about follow-up, after Wednesday on the 20th, we're going to do a GM talkback where if y'all have any questions about how to run Savage Worlds or actually how I specifically ran the game before, how I messed up that game, you feel free to tell me how I screwed up, how I, didn't know the rules or something. I mean, trust me, sometimes I know the rules. I just don't care.
I wrote them. I can change them whenever I want. I brought those rules into the world. I can throw them out of the world.
That's right.
So Dr. Bosong, awesome Savage community member, especially on Discord, has a question on both YouTube and Twitch. And it goes something like this. He's played and updated Necessary Evil 2 several times with lots of little changes. So, Clint, what is your favorite little change to the updates for the Necessary Evil line?
Wow. Little updates to the Necessary Evil line. I will tell you what my favorite update was, and that's not this particular, but to the original Necessary Evil. One of my favorite updates was when we redid it for the Explorers Edition after it originally came out. Shane was 100% behind because of the way the layout flowed, us adding in that 11th plot point that people who had already played the campaign could go back and replay that plot point additional adventure with their original characters. And if you hadn't played it before, then you could just flow right through into that one. That was awesome for me. For this, it seems little, but it's so important, I think, with Supers games. One of the things that just I'm thrilled about is the art, because comics are all about a mixture of art and storytelling. And, art like what's behind me right now is just great. But a little change to the rules. Wow.
I mean, has Necessary Evil been affected by kind of the updates from the Superpower Companion? And
yeah. I mean, I think that's kind of it. I think most of the stuff that you've already seen in the Superpowered Companion, because when we designed the SPC for Suede, we were trying to keep in mind, yes, this is going to be our foundation for Necessary Evil, the redoing 1, doing 2, doing 3, doing
4 and 5.
Yeah. Which, and then
I'm cute. You can't fire me.
Yeah. There's actually, no, Christian, it was the 11th plot point, because
I think he's suggesting like maybe it's time to add a 12.
Oh, wow. Well, actually, I would say the 12th plot point is probably the entire of Necessary Evil 3.
Cool. So yeah, DeForest.
Because I will tell you this is another spoiler. Necessary Evil 3 is not a prequel like Breakout was. Necessary Evil 3 is directly following, the original Necessary Evil. In other words, it happens afterwards. But of course, it happens in space.
In space. So yes, Mr. DeForest, you can use your characters from Necessary Evil 1 and bring them into Necessary Evil 3, which is the direction. So the order for folks who haven't, so the chronological order in universe is Necessary Evil 2, which is the breakout, the actual like invasion, and then Necessary Evil 1, which is the world having been changed by the Visori, and then give us a little hint, like where did Necessary Evil 1 leave off that we were starting Necessary Evil 3?
Well, that's a bit of a spoiler.
Okay, fine.
In the plot point campaign, but yes, presuming the villains win in the end of Necessary Evil, they do kick the Visori off the planet, mostly.
You think?
Well, the thing about the Visori is they're not used to losing, so they don't really have. They have plans for a whole lot of things. They planned for a lot. That's how they were successful. They didn't plan quite so much for failure. And so some pockets actually got just left behind and abandoned on Earth. So, there's, still some people there. And it doesn't necessarily mean those, Visori who got left behind are happy with being left behind. The Empire kind of abandoned them. And so they have that. And, but Necessary Evil 3 is going to really take place it is cosmic confrontation. It is on a cosmic scale. So one of the things about Necessary Evil that we're looking at with each of the books is touching on a different power level. There are 5 power levels in the Superpowered Companion. For those who know the original Necessary Evil, the first one that was published was essentially power level 3, and would be. Necessary Evil 2 Breakout was power level 2. It was essentially playing the kind of villains who threaten a city, like Spider-Man villains, not world-threatening villains like the Avengers. Necessary Evil 3 is cosmic crisis, cosmic. It's power level 5. So yeah, if you're bringing your villains back, they've been jacked up. They found a cosmic radiation. They sat at the bottom of a gamma bomb. They were touched by Captain Universe. I'm just going to use all these esoteric comic references till you hit on something. Superman just flew into the yellow sun and absorbed all the radiation. They've really jacked up in their power level. Yeah.
So being in development at similar times, any expected crossover between Necessary Evil 3 and the upcoming sci-fi companion?
Not exactly. No. I mean, you might see elements that are in NE3 in the sci-fi companion, but we're telling a bit of a different story in there. In other words, it's kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy has spaceships. You have space travel. You have people going around a lot. They have, some higher tech weapons and things like that, which obviously you will see those. But you aren't necessarily seeing a whole lot of people running around in mechs or robots and things like that. And, you will see more aliens to choose from, but they will be aliens, from the Necessary Evil universe, so to speak. You may not duplicate them in the sci-fi companion.
As you molest your microphone and definitely
I know.
Be in the crowd.
It attacked me.
Super villain. So, John Doom, I don't think there's anything we're ever going to publish recently and going forward that is not going to get the VTT treatment. So, I mean, that's a promise that maybe future me will have to be like, God damn it, Landauer, don't promise it. But I'm pretty sure everything that we're doing is heading to VTT because we've got the industry-leading VTT super powerhouse in-house. So why would we not? So yes, we're not okay. But the one thing we did learn, just for folks, I think I said this before, but we are not coupling our crowdfunding timelines with VTT delivery because those are two separate pipelines, right? All the people who work on VTT are different than the people who are working in-house on producing books and PDFs. And the VTT folks really need one because programmers are expensive and their time is expensive. So we don't want to go back and keep revising, programming hours the same way we might want to just, abuse our writers with rewrites and updates. But they really need a final version to work with, just so versioning stays correct and all the good stuff that goes onto the VTT is the correct final published, same as PDF, same as print book version. And so we don't really give them the stuff early. So they can't work on it. Also, their plate is really full with our entire backlog of stuff that they can eventually go through and also bring to VTT. So whenever we're not doing something productive on a new crowdfunder, or currently, I should say, we're always being productive. They're going through the backlog. So we found out pretty fast that, like for our Kickstarter, if we put in virtual tabletop stuff, we will have been in a point where we've delivered all the books and delivered the PDFs, but then the VTT stuff will still need to be delivered. And we can't start a new Kickstarter campaign until the old one's been delivered. And so we really don't want to hijack and not, move on to the next book project just to wait for VTT. So we have extricated VTT from the same funding pipeline of the Kickstarters. But that does not mean we are removing it from the plan on being produced. So pretty much, yes, everything is being produced all the time by everyone, except we have a finite number of humans who can program. So until the AI overlords take over and produce AI content or VTT content immediately, it'll be there. And then we also give them the freedom to pick their schedule on what next project they can, fit in here and there, and so sometimes VTT stuff comes out a little out of order versus when we've crowdfunded. So that's just for super efficiency and letting those guys and gals, lots of gals, get their stuff done when they need to. So that's a long answer to a short question.
The short version is yes.
We could have just gone there, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I've just been looking through those questions that have been scrolling through Jody's responses.
God.
Yeah.
So So I was getting into it a little bit before, but we jumped right into all the spoilers because Mr. DeForest kicked us off, and we decided we had to deliver. So before we talked about the awesome stream next Wednesday, and then the GM follow up on Thursday, and then the crowdfunder starting the Tuesday following that. We did a little bit about you grew up a child of the South and grew up into a furniture producing factory family. Tell us about your history in gaming. When did you first pick up RPG playing? What was your first gaming experience? What was that? Tell us about it. Way back in the day.
Yep. I mean, it was way back in the day. Gosh, I mean, as you get with so many people, I mean, the same two words you hear from so many people, Redbox, I was getting into gaming when they were first coming out, at the high point of that. I am old, enough that I played with some of my friends in, what you kids today now call middle school. But back in my day, we had a junior high and we loved it. But I started back then. I had a group of friends and we'd get together and play. Literally in the basement of one of their houses, old school while. I have I still have some things that I've carried over from those original days gaming. I hate Sturges in D&D because we played, in the caves of chaos, and we kept going to the entrance that had Sturges roosting just on the inside. My character could not get to the entrance before I had to make up a new character. So I still hate Sturges to this day.
It's like playing Temple of Elemental Evil and picking the wrong portal and your character disappears. You're like, I'm going to find him later. Yeah, you never find your character. He's gone.
Yeah. There was that. And then I had one of my friends who ended up going into the military, who was a very big military buff, and he ran Twilight 2000 for us, nice. Which was a lot of fun in the day, and very tried to be accurate with military stuff and everything. And the problem was he's running a very military themed game with a group of players who know nothing about military tactics or concepts or whatever. Well, he knew all of them. So we would constantly frustrate him with our ideas of how we would do things. Like, why don't we just throw a grenade into the hut? It's like, that seemed like a simple solution. And one of the things I still recall from that were, no matter where we were, we could be in the middle of the jungle, we could be on the top of a mountain, we could be anywhere, but instead of the rocks fall, everybody dies, he would say, 6 guys in black with AK-47s rappel out of the sky and kill you all. I mean, just straight out of the sky. It doesn't matter where they were. That was his solution back then. But that was how I started.
The days of adversarial game masters and winning RPGs. Yes.
Yeah. It was later in when I went to UNC Charlotte that I joined a game group that really introduced me to full-on role-playing, getting into the characters and doing things like that, as opposed to just your standard beer and pretzels gaming. And that was where I really got started out. And those were a great bunch of guys, and I'm so thankful that I had that experience and that opportunity.
So speaking of college, where'd you meet Jody?
I was going by the playground, and I'm sorry, that is inaccurate. Jody went to the college, now university as it adjusted, in Hickory, where I live, and her big sister in her sorority was part of my gaming group at the time. And unbeknownst to me, Jody had started playing in a game with her big sis and someone else, but we met because two friends that we game with got married. Jody did not know them at the time, but her big sis did, and he came from New York. this is an interesting way to get on. He came from New York. Some of his friends came down, and I offered to let them stay at my father's house because he was out of town. And we all were getting together for pizza on the night of the rehearsal dinner that we weren't invited to because we weren't actually part of the wedding. And Jody called up her big sis and said, "What are you doing? Oh no, I believe she just straight up said, we're going out tonight." And she was told, "Well, I already have plans to go to this other thing." And Jody was just like, "Well, then I'm going with you." So that was where I met her when she invited herself out to have pizza with my dad's stuff. And then,
well, Jody insists that you weren't crashing a pizza party, that you sniffed out a Sagebrush Steakhouse.
No, Sagebrush was later. The coming out to my father's place that night was, we had just ordered pizza. I don't think we had gone to Sagebrush yet, but yeah, but
food and gaming was involved, right?
Yeah. So two of our gaming friends, her big sis told her that I wanted to ask her out on a date, and the big sis's roommate that we also gamed with told me that Jody wanted to ask me out on a date. So for 2 solid weeks, we went round and round, meeting each other, waiting for the other person to ask out on a date through mutual friend meetings until finally she was actually, she was in My Fair Lady. She was doing that at the community theater. And there was a thing of, well, we're not going to see each other tomorrow. And it's like, well, I mean, we could meet at, this local sandwich place, have lunch. Yeah, that'd be great. We'll have dinner. So that was kind of our first date, but neither of us asked the other out. Then it was our 3-month anniversary that finally we said, "Hey, you know what? Why did you never actually ask me out on a date?" And I was like, "Why didn't you?" And we realized 3 months after we had been solidly dating that we had been set up. So that's,
I mean, your wingmen and women almost screwed it up though by telling you both to wait for the other one because so I mean, close call.
It was.
We almost didn't have the first couple of gaming because the wingmen were a little too overzealous.
Or maybe they played it exactly right.
That's true. Whatever did, it worked. Right? Let's not question. Do not question it. The results are good. We like it. So awesome thing. So Knights of the Smith Dinner Table. Thank you for your donation to the MS Society. That just popped up on my screen.
Thank you guys so much.
Very awesome. I know they popped off. They had to go probably to start their own stream because they are amazing streamers. But we appreciate it, guys. We appreciate it. And yes, may I call upon you? Like, did you is this a Regency novel now, or Mr. Clint Black is here to see you, Madame. He left a card, and then so cute. So awesome. So obviously love at first sight, and you never look back. And now you are not only the consummate gamer couple, you've also produced gamers, and you guys are about to go to Japan. So tell us what's on the itinerary for you guys' big trip to go check out Japan.
Oh, I mean, so it's a whole family trip. So everybody has picked certain thing that they want to do. And honestly, I share so much with my family that they chose everything I kind of wanted to do. The only thing that was left when we were talking to our travel agent, because this is a big trip for us, once in a lifetime, more than likely, unless the U.S. asked us to leave again. But
you cannot come back, sir.
Yeah. When she was asking, well, is there anything you want to do? Because we're doing so much, like watching a katana be made, hot springs trips, historical things, food, filming stuff and everything. And I had told her very jokingly, I said, well, as I understand, that's where Godzilla lives. So I would like to meet Godzilla. That's my goal. It's like, that's where he lives, right? And she came through. There is a hotel in Tokyo that, like, on the 13th floor has a 2-scale Godzilla head looking off the top of it. and like a claw coming out of the building, like he's reaching through it. And apparently the bottom level or something has like all the original posters for all the movies, connects to a theater that's constantly showing all the different Godzilla movies. And we are going to get to stay there and like see this place. And I mean, I was like, I just was overwhelmed. I mean, that they're literally, I mean, I was like, of course the Japanese have a hotel with a full size, a 2-scale Godzilla head off.
You get to come to Gojira Hotel. Oh my God, that's so awesome. So I didn't know you knew because Jody let us know, but we didn't know. So that was the spoiler on the last stream where Donald was like, yes, we didn't know if you knew about the Gojira Hotel. It looks
Gojira.
Awesome.
Yes, it does. It looks
so
amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, I've known about that. And something Christian said about looking for Japanese copies of Suede. We did mention this in the last Tuesday update, and we're looking. So we're hoping to run into some, Savage Worlds players in Japan and see some of the game stores there. I mean, I'd love to. From what I understand, some of these are just mind-boggling, the game stores they have, because it just encompasses so much more. That'll be it. Yeah. That'll be exciting as well to get to see that. There's so much.
Super awesome. Okay, so 2 more stories before we get to go and let people get back to their Fridays. Mm-hmm. Not that hanging out with Clint is not awesome. So GM screw ups, sir. I've never been in a game where Clint has ever screwed up as a game master, but
that you know of.
Well, that's true, right? If the players don't know, it didn't happen. It was designed.
That's
all
right.
Organic, 100%.
Yep. But it does happen, and that is what I'm going to say is anybody can screw up and there's always going to be things that happened in an RPG that you're not prepared for. The one that can get you the most is you're not prepared for what you didn't do right for some reason. So I have 2 stories of GM screw ups. One actually goes back to Mace in High Point, and these are both times that I was running Savage Worlds at a convention for new players, in some cases, or people that knew. And I ran a Star Wars game, and one of the things I tell people all the time, and you should really consider, is if you're using the adventure deck, take out the cards you don't want to come up in the game. Just use the cards that you want to see, especially if you're running a convention game or a one-shot. Take out things that aren't necessarily going to impact. Like, you don't, if there's a case of there's not really going to be, like, all of the minions or robots, there's not going to be really somebody who may turn or something like that. So, having somebody change sides, I mean, it could happen, just if there's cards that do that. So in this game, I was going the safe route of nobody was playing a Jedi, but they were going to be getting a mission from a Jedi. And I had pulled out all the cards I didn't want them to play. Yep, Christian gives it away. I had pulled out Love Interest because I didn't want somebody to play that on a Jedi. And then I picked up the discard pile and I dealt from it. And the first thing one of my players did was play Love Interest on the Jedi, causing him to forego his vows.
Because that all worked out just fine in the original trilogy and the prequels.
Yeah.
And don't fall in love. And that's how you get Sith.
Yep. You want a Sith? This is how you get the Sith.
Right.
Yeah. And then the other one I did was... we had gone to a convention and I had gotten a free die as part of buying a game that used a D2 basically.
Coin flip.
Yeah. And I actually had that happen in I'm blanking on it. I'll come back to it then. But so it's a D6 that only has 1s and 2s on it. For an entire session, I used that D6 as my wild die. and I did not realize it. I rolled more critical failures for the bad guys than that. And at the very end, I was like, I do not know what happened. And I went to put my dice away, and I picked that one up, and all I saw was 1s and 2s, and I went, "Doh!" And meanwhile, I've got these players just telling me what a great game I ran and how awesome it was. And I was like, glad you liked it. Like, yeah, so never use a D2 for your wild die.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
Goodness. So in the chat they're talking about, okay, you can't pick necessary evil, and maybe this is harder for you because they're like your children, you can't pick a favorite one. Bethany.
Yeah.
Sorry, Trinity. Just kidding. What besides necessary evil, what is your current favorite? Jody asked favorite, and then Dr. Boson's like, hey, what's all savage setting of choice? So can't pick necessary evil. What else? I think you're going to say Deadlands because I know you and Jody run Deadlands all the time. But what are your other and if you have to pick multiple ones, what about them is the reason you think they're cool and special and awesome and that good stuff?
That is hard. There are so many settings that I really enjoy. I mean, obviously we have played Deadlands quite a bit. We've actually had two of our duet games have used, Deadlands. Very different setups, from traveling the West, kind of Wild Wild West style in a train car that they owned, to to having one city that Jody and I built together, co-GMing. That was like our first real co-GMing duet version of that, and that. But I mean, I love all the settings that people make themselves. That's what I love. I love seeing people take the rules, take what we've put out there, take setting rules we've put out there, create their own setting rules, and create their own games. Jody made a comment earlier of asking me about the Goth. I will never forget being at Gen Con, standing in the Pinnacle booth, and having someone come up behind me and say, "Excuse me, are you Clint Black?" And I turned around, and there is a guy who is like 5'4", weighs, I don't know, a buck and some change, maybe. Skinny guy, all dressed in black from head to toe, mascara, pale skin, everything, top to bottom. And I'm, yeah, what, I'm very confused. And he said, I just wanted to tell you that you had posted on the forums about using the superpowered rules to run like World of Darkness, just creating packages. And I used that, and I changed my World of Darkness game to Savage Worlds, and it has been the best thing for my campaign ever. And thank you so much. Aww. And I was like, I have a Goth. But I mean, that meant so much to me to see somebody taking what we had done or just advice we'd given and making their own thing. I mean, even now, the campaign Jody and I are playing is one we've kind of created ourselves. It's 1920s urban fantasy, as we kind of call it, Fae in LA, based in Los Angeles in the height of the movie becoming big and everything, and just use the superpowered companion to create different low level, effectively like street level supernatural characters, and that's been a blast. But that's what I love seeing, is those creative ideas. I mean, or taking ideas on a creative basis. I mentioned about Diana and Adam being in Harbingers. I think the reveal of Harbingers, where they played essentially three seasons, each seeming like it's a different setting, and then the reveal that it's all been the same setting all along, was amazing. That was fantastic, and one we published, so I love that too. I like all of them. I do. If I have to pick one Pinnacle published, I have a fondness for Deadlands Hell on Earth. And that is kind of because if you go back to my first baby, the first thing I ever wrote for Pinnacle was the expanded rules for the librarian arcane background in Hell on Earth, and that goes back because I like that, and I also liked having Jodie's Doomsayer character nuke a bad guy, and him just getting back up because that wasn't his weakness, and Jodie just being, "I'm out, I'm out, I'm done." Yeah.
So we hit our hour, and there's so many more
Yes.
stories to tell. So I have to have you back. But we've the priest of science.
That's right.
Right. Never mess with the librarian. They know too much. They know where the bodies can be buried and not found. And so we got a few more minutes. I want to hear how you met Shane and got involved in Savage Worlds and became the rules guru and all. I mean, that's maybe a longer story, but like
that's a long story. So we'll go with the quick version. First thing I ever had published was actually in White Wolf magazine, where our group had played a lot of Shadowrun, but we used the GURPS rule system for it. So I did some magic items that you could have in Shadowrun, but I put rules in it for using it with GURPS. And I got that published through White Wolf. Years later, I had copies of this magazine, obviously my first published thing. Of course I did. I looked through it and I realized in that same magazine, Shane reviewed GURPS Espionage, which had just come out. So literally, even when I wasn't trying, I was being published in the same thing with Shane Hensley. Like, couldn't get away from it.
That's
and then as it happened, it came up that I had that published. I felt good about it. I'll be fair. I wasn't keen on how librarians were handled in the Hell on Earth Companion when it came out. I had an idea, decided to write it up, and I submitted it to Pinnacle, basically cold, just cold submission to it, and got a great response to it. And they published that in the Epitaph when Pinnacle was doing the Epitaph to support all the Deadland lines. And that is where that started. And then Shane Hensley did something to me that I will not let anyone else do again.
We can't go there, Shane. Or Clint, this is PG.
He got me to create for a D20 product.
Oh, okay.
Horrors of Weird War II. He said, "You want to make some of the creatures for it, come up with stuff. I think if you could." And that was one of the hardest things I've ever worked for. And I admit, I am just not built for doing their stat blocks. And I know people that do, and I have mad respect for the people that can do those things, because it's, that was just super hard. But I led into that, and ultimately, we were part of the first playtesters for Savage Worlds because we were on the mailing list discussing it. And I had run a scenario for Jodie. I mean, I love the concept. It hit on all notes for me. Fast to run, quick GM setup, be able to do role-playing and adventure, for the fact that, jobs, kids, everything that else you had going on. We didn't have all that time. So I did a quick scenario for Jodie of Starship Troopers, and then I posted on the mailing list, "Hey, this is how I did it." And I just statted out the bugs. I just using what we always say, just gave them the stats I wanted. And Shane emailed me and said, "You get it. I want you on board. Will you, come in and do some play testing and look over stuff?" And I can still point back to the original edition of Savage Worlds and point at some things like, I wrote that line, And from there, it just grew into the forums. I had posted about the idea for Necessary Evil. I had actually just sent him an email saying, "Hey, I've got this idea for a setting, but I don't want to put it out as fan content with superpowered rules. If you've got superpowered rules that are coming along, I want to be respectful for you because you guys have always been cool to me and everything." And later on, Shane posted to the mailing list, "I lost some emails. Could the person who sent me the proposal about the supervillain setting please get back to me?" And I said,
"Shane, losing emails would never happen in a million years."
And I said, "Proposal? So I contacted Shane, and he was like, "No, we absolutely have to publish this. I love this idea. I love the setting. We're going to do this, and we'll make it happen." And that was a big learning experience of how making any book in this industry really is a team effort, because it wasn't just me. I didn't write the entire thing. I was way novice at that time and stuff. But we got some great people. We worked together. We made the book and got it out there, and it was better for it. And then I love the fact that when we reprinted it with the Explorers Edition, they were all about, let's make it better, and that's what we've done with Savage Worlds all along the way, is how can we just continue to make it better, because there's always things you can discover along the way. But yeah,
like friendships.
That's right. Friendship is tragic.
Right.
No, magic. Right.
Magic, tragic. Either one. It makes for good TV, which are role playing. Either way.
Right.
So awesome, guys. A bunch of you have just donated to the MS Society. Thank you so much. So let's Shane, thank you, buddy. Jeffrey Gordon, thank you for your donation, sir. Bernie Trombley, thank you for your donation to the MS Society. Christian Serrano in the chat, thank you, sir. And Chuck Childers, thank you. So, wow, this is...
Yes, thank you guys so much. And I want to say, I had really just planned on getting donations during the stream. I will be giving the players something special at the beginning of the game because of the donations that have already come in, early. So
I'm thinking I will put the money down to buy the pie. I am thinking that if we get to a certain number during the stream, Jody gets to pie you in the face on camera. I mean, we have precedent. It raised $1,000 for the nurses. If we can get to $1,000, I will buy the pie. And yeah, we're doing it.
If we get to $1,000, I will eat a pie. Yes. I mean,
yes!
Yes. I'll do it.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to go find a very nice pie and have it sent to the house right now. We're not doing just like whipped cream on a plate. No, it's got to be some quality.
Oh, Chris, you don't have to worry about that. One of Jody's other sorority sisters has the most awesome bakery about a mile from our house. And I know that she would just love to make a pie to be thrown in my face.
Oh, my God. Doing it. Okay. Brilliance. See, we could have done cookies, Christian, and it would have been a nice, simple, easy to clean up. Nope. We're going pie. Awesome. So yes, folks, I think we're already, are we halfway there? I mean, how much we are significantly our way to $1,000. So if we hit $1,000 during stream, there will be a pie ready and waiting. Yes, doing it. Because I think we're 360 already, and we haven't even started. Haven't even you are the first people to hear that we're doing this besides a little Facebook notification. So, yeah.
If we make it, I think though we will do it at the end of the stream, because I would love to. If we hit $1,000 before, I'd love to do it at break. I can't see me running the last half of the game with literal pie on my face.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll grant you that. So the pie stream, is next Wednesday evening.
That's
so
right.
I don't know if we picked an hour to start or not.
We are going to start at 7 p.m. Eastern.
7 p.m. Eastern. Okay.
And plan to run till about 11. There will be a break in between, and during the break, Chris said, we'll give you some more information about the MS Society and what they do and more information about it. But yeah.
Awesome. Oh my God. Okay.
And
so
a huge shout out to my players being so awesome and jumping on board to play this. And behind the scenes, you guys do not know how many people have been so supportive of this. I had talked to Kay Purcell at PAX Unplugged at the end of last year, and I mentioned us wanting to do charity streams. She said she was 100% behind it. I sent her an email saying, thank you so much. They gave us a thing, and immediately she said she invited me on her streamed interview show, and that she will fit that in Tuesday before the stream so we can use it to get out to more people. I mean, it's amazing the way people have come out essentially last minute to really help us on this and to help out and be a part of it. And especially the players who I just planned to torture for 4 hours. That's just amazing.
Oh, awesome. So Jody's on board. We're gonna prep a pie because I will make sure we get there. That is my mission for the next week is get us to 1,000. And hey, if we get to 1,000 before next stream, I think someone else is gonna get pie in the face. And I mean, I don't know who would ever want to pie me in the face, but we'll find someone. So we'll have to find the number. But yes, if we get to 1,000 before the stream, there will be multiple pieings next week. So right. Oh, fruit pie for low hanging fruit. So I think I'm gonna go for like banana cream. That's my jam. And jam too. Jam pie.
Let's try to make it too much lactose for the lactose intolerant guy.
Okay, so yeah. Well, I'll consult with Jody on appropriate pie-ness, and we were yes. Sarah Ann's Bakery. Thank you. We're gonna we'll get an unofficial sponsorship from Sarah Ann's Bakery. Let them know. We'll throw some cash their way, and they can put a nice little like smiley face on the top of it for you, or I don't know. We'll see. But so for those of you who are just joining us, there is history here. Here is the inspiration for getting pied. That is our favorite right there, Mr. Clint getting pied, and so we're gonna have to beat $1,014, so we can beat the nurses, just for a little inflation. And right? Oh my God! Yes, we could sell tickets. This would be good. This would be good. So, do we have to do my pieing on stream, or should we wait for like? So, oh, here we go. There's Sarah's cover. We could select from the pie. So we're gonna go shopping for pies now.
I tell you what, guys. I will even say I'll let Jody put a pie on my face for every $1,000 we reach. So if you get to 2,000, you get to see her put two. I will say two completely different pies. We could have a fruit pie and a chocolate cream pie, banana, whatever.
Oh. There's so much potential here. Okay, we're doing this. Pie. So, folks, thank you for joining us on this Friday. We're going to let you go down there and shop for pies that we can hopefully multiple pieing for Clint in the face for the stream. So next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern, and then Thursday, we're going to do the follow-up. We're going to just see how much diabetes Clint got from the pies that we smashed in his face next Wednesday. But so it's a great cause. We are raising money for the MS Society, and there's multiple sclerosis is evil, and it needs to have a cure.
It's necessary to get rid of it.
Right? So Necessary Evil 1 stream with the guy who wrote it next Wednesday, 7 p.m. And then we'll have to have Clint on more because we are the week after that on pulling up my calendar, Tuesday, the 25th, we will be launching the Game Changer for Necessary Evil 3, which includes all new, rebooted, rebooked, laid out, more art, all the greatness, Necessary Evil 1 and 2. So it's going to be a big game changer to support the Necessary Evil line. And Christian will be on the stream on Wednesday playing supervillains, turned good. And it doesn't have to be the whole pie, Jody. We can have a slice or two before Clint gets to Bogart the whole thing. So, ooh. Oh, shepherd's pie. That's evil. Hot and steamy. No, we don't want third-degree burns. Although shepherd's pie is delicious. So we appreciate you guys coming, and we'll have to have a Clint on more because we barely scratched the surface of the history of the man that is the Savage Rules guru. And then maybe one day we'll get Jody on after you guys get back from Japan, so you can tell us how your trip went, and then we'll do like office hours with you as a couple, and you can tell us embarrassingly cute couple stories about like, couples gaming and duetting and stuff like that. So, anyways, folks, we appreciate you spending some time with us on this Friday. Thank you, Clint. Really glad that it was a great idea. Well, I'm glad you wrote Necessary Evil. Two, glad that you're going to be running an actual play. Really glad that we're going to get Necessary Evil 3. And super thankful that you are supporting the MS Society with your streaming efforts and all the people who are going to also help on the stream. So play some Savage Worlds this weekend, folks. Possibly Necessary Evil to get in the mood. If not, we will stream next Wednesday, and then we will wish the Blacks well on their trip to Japan, and we will get many good stories from there. And so, take it easy, folks. Play some Savage Worlds. Cheers.
Yeah. Cheers. Thank you.